Welcome back to the Hockey Show, and today we're talking about the Nashville Predators, the team that is so on fire they should be recalled the Calgary Flames because they are on fire right now. 15-0-2 in their last 18 games. They are on a 18-game consecutive point streak. And that is insane because it's all about timing in the NHL, you know? Some teams it's all about, like, take a look at the team that went to the finals last year. Think about the Florida Panthers. They were a team that went from President's Trophy winner to being an absolute snore in the playoffs to last year being a, once again, hopeful President's Trophy team, not even close to the playoff picture. Went on a great, 10-game, to end the season streak, and then just squeezed into the playoffs by 1 point. By 1 point, and it's because the Penguins couldn't make it in because they couldn't beat two of the worst teams in the league, in the Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks. So the Panthers, fortunately made it in after all their hard efforts and a little bit of good luck. They make it into the playoffs, and then they go on a Cinderella story where they almost win the Stanley Cup if it wasn't for one of the best teams to ever win the Stanley Cup ever in the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, let's take in another story. We've got a team that was kind of middling in the middle of the pack where they're usually in the wild card picture, never really in the top three of their division, not really counted as out of the playoffs, but has been consistently in a wild card spot for most of the season. Maybe starting to get close towards the end where some teams are really putting it on, trying to win some games, make it in. But then there's that team decides, you know what, we're not going to miss the playoffs. We're not going to go anywhere. In fact, we're going to be above and stay above, multiple points above now, the Stanley Cup defending champions, and we're going to just dominate the league and be the league's hottest team in the last quarter of the season, and that is the Nashville Predators. 15-0-2. This team is so good. And it shouldn't be a surprise. They have 88 points, which puts them just a handful of points outside of the top three picture. They're not going to make it in. They're 10 points. What am I talking about? They're 10 points behind the top three pictures. So they're not going to squeeze into the top three of the Central Division. But when it comes to a playoff spot, they are in. They are going to take out, they will beat out one of the Pacific teams of the Golden Knights or the LA Kings. As long as they don't go from 15-2 to 0-15, they should be fine. And I don't think they will, because this is one of those teams, and a lot of the players on this team, this isn't a sketchy or a streaky team that I think is going to go from their 15-0-2 and then 0-10. You know, this is a team full of a lot of veterans, a lot of hardworking, consistent players, and that's one of the best things I like about this team. They are good, they have depth, they have stars from offense to defense, they have depth and stars, and especially in the back end of it all. But they have consistent point-scoring guys, too. Because some teams you take a look at, and it's oh, okay, look, this team's on a hot streak right now, but their top-scoring players during that streak are still half a point a season, you know? This team, they're consistent. Philip Forsberg, 78 points this season out of 72 games, right? A point per game, a little bit above that. Roman Josi, 72 points in 71 games played. He's a point per game as well. And gotta say, Roman Josi, one of the most underrated players in the league, I think. I know he's not truly underrated. A lot of people know he's really good, but I don't think people understand that he should be a more up for Norris contention player. He's able to play offense really well. He's especially good at offense, but he can play defense and help in the back end of things as well. He's up there with guys like Victor Hedman and Cale Makar. Not on Cale Makar's level, but you get what I mean. Hedman especially. Just kind of a good, solid two-way defenseman who can really put points on the board and really help out in the back end and handle situations on his own. And Roman Josi, Forsberg, those guys, some notable jump-out players that you wouldn't expect. Guys like Gustav Nyquist and Ryan O'Reilly on the top line being able to be consistent players. Maybe not so much O'Reilly, but O'Reilly, especially in the playoffs, he's someone to look forward to. He's one of those hard-nosed guys that has won a Conn Smythe before they rise to the occasion. Gustav Nyquist in his career year, he's someone that you want to look out for. And then just down the lineup as well. You just keep going down through the four lines of the offense. And this team, the depth of this team, I would say, is probably up there and is one of the more underrated ones, especially if you want to compare third to fourth lines with a Colorado Avalanche. And I would give the hand to the Predators, and we've seen what happens when Colorado, their top guys can buzz, but then their bottom lines aren't doing anything. It happened last year with Seattle, and I don't know. The Predators, with how good they are going right now, and I think this, especially the momentum city that is Smashville. This is the type of team that is going to ride and let it ride until they are knocked out, and they are going to keep fighting. And the Predators in the playoffs have always been a tough team, and that's where the experience of a team like the Winnipeg Jets and then a team like Nashville, who are like two teams in the Central Division, have been somewhat contenders and somewhat like not super serious, but in the playoff playing teams. That's where I give Nashville a little bit of a hand. Because a team like the Winnipeg Jets over the last few years, when they go up against Montreal, they go up against the Vegas Golden Knights, they just seem to be useless. They just get in the playoffs, they might win a round, but then they just get bounced. And their top guys are not playoff contenders. The Predators, though, their guys show up, and down the lineup, they've got hardworking young guys who are looking for a job, and some veterans in there as well. But then the defense is good as well. You get Yossi, if Dante Fabro's on the lineup, you get Ryan McDonough. This team got a lot of good, strong, not like super shut down, but just like solid defense. Like solid defense that can get the job done, just get them going. Because they're all padded up by UC Saros in the back. Juice in the back. And then also Lankinen is there as well. And then Askarov. This team's got a lot of things going for them. But right now it's UC Saros. The goaltender that, despite his size, he's able to shut down every other team. And in the playoffs, in this form that this team's playing in just the solid, just like overall game they're playing, it would not be surprising to me if Saros can put, and we've seen what happened last year, and what happens when you have a good goaltender who can just keep your team afloat, and your lineup can get the job done, especially with guys like Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsbergs, who are guys who I could akin to guys like Sam Bennett and to Barkov and especially Matthew Tkachuk and Forsberg. I can see the timely scoring that this team can have while giving a tough time to score against a team like the Avalanche or a team like the Stars, where Stars can just lock down the machine, and the defense can keep them to the outside. That this team can get a couple of good goals and make the game like 3-2, and they can win some series. And that the Predators, to me, are a dark horse. Most teams usually are. Most teams, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like the Maple Leafs, like we've seen it, it doesn't matter. But the Predators, when they get in the playoffs, usually, they are a menace. They can go in there and are a threat. And this team, a lot of the players have been around for a while. Forsberg and Yossi, Ryan O'Reilly's been a Conn Smythe winner. UC Saros is a Vezina contender every season. This team's got a lot of good things going for them. And just because of a lackluster, like most of the season, bleeding into the end of the regular season, going into the playoffs, this team's got a lot of good things going for them. And I think you should keep an eye out for them. And they should not be that big of a surprise. Because right now, they would be going up against the... Wait, hang on. They'd probably be playing against the Kings, I think. Not the Kings, the Edmonton Oilers. And a team like them, or even if they go up somehow, if they land a team like the Golden Knights wouldn't pass them, so they're going to play the Pacific Division team. So if they're going to play the Pacific, I think they knock them out. If it's the Oilers, they're going to knock them out. I think the Oilers have shown that they are not completely ready for the playoffs to win. I just don't think this is the year for them. And if they go up against a team like the Kings, I especially kind of like the Predators going up against them. Right now, I just think they've got a good team. And as long as it bleeds in those, because they've got the veteran, they've got the hardworking young guys, they've got the stars, they've got the goaltending, they've got the defense, they've got point producers. They have all the elements, and I just feel like because of our bias towards teams like Toronto and just all the teams that get all the immediate attention, and most people use more prowess towards a team like the Rangers and the Bruins and stuff, that we believe in those teams more. But we've seen the past few years that it doesn't matter where you land up in the standings. It is all about how you go into the playoffs. And right now, the Predators are going in. Right now, if it started today, it would be the hottest team in the NHL. And I think they would upset a team like the Avalanche, or they would upset a team like the Oilers. But we still are a few weeks away from the playoffs, so we're not there yet. and plenty of time for things to go up and down. So I guess for right now, we don't know what will happen, but all I know is the Predators are hot as hell, and I am done with my rambling. So that's all I gotta say. So thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, please, I'm begging you, pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button. Thank you for watching this, and until next episode, too sweet, have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.